The Institute for Health and Healing is a comprehensive integrative medicine program at Sutter Health, dedicated to healing people and transforming healthcare. Check us out at myhealthandhealing.org or on Facebook.
Dr. Rappaport is a licensed marriage and family therapist and a registered expressive arts therapist at the Institute for Health and Healing in Santa Rosa. As a pioneer and leader in the field of mind-body medicine for over 30 years, she developed a new therapeutic practice called focusing-oriented arts therapy, and it's internationally recognized as an effective method for reducing stress, as well as cultivating self-compassion, self-care, inner trust, and authenticity. As the founder and director of Focusing and Expressive Art Institute, Laury also designed the Mind-Body Medicine Department at Five Branches University in traditional Chinese medicine, and has been on the faculty of 5 graduate counseling art therapy training programs. She works with people of all ages to explore and transform feelings related to illness, challenges to relationships or self-esteem, changes in life, or limiting beliefs and behaviors. And Laury also teaches skills to apply to your daily life that can help to restore greater mind, body, emotion, and spirit balance. She's the author of Focusing-Oriented Art Therapy, Accessing the Body's Wisdom and Creative Intelligence. She's the creator of the CD, Focusing for Well-Being, editor of Mindfulness and the Arts Therapies. And with that, I welcome Laury Rappaport to come and address you tonight.
Well, good evening. I'm so honored to be with all of you tonight. It's exciting to look around and see this amazing community. And you know, this presentation was supposed to be originally in October. And I was thinking about it, that I know I was invited to give this presentation in October because of my almost 40 years of experience as a psychotherapist, expressive arts therapist, a meditator, and mindfulness practitioner. But once it got rescheduled, I want to share with you that there's another place of where I'm coming from tonight, which is that, you know, our community has been touched and affected by, you know, the recent fires. And I want to share that I am one of the thousands of people who have lost their home. And I share that with you for this reason, because the things that I want to share with you about cultivating inner calm and resilience through life's challenges comes from all those wonderful things that Tony Blair just told you about me. But it also comes from trying to live from that place. And so all the tools that I'm going to share with you tonight are things I do myself. And I was realizing that I can only really be standing here giving this presentation because those are the things that nourish me. So tonight I want to share with you a brief overview of stress and resilience. And I think you'll see how what I share tonight really matches what Philip just presented. And then how mindfulness reduces stress and enhances resilience. And how mindfulness and mind-body tools help with strong feelings and strengthen resilience. And how to carry mind-body tools into your life. So we all do know that stress is a natural part of life. Yes, do you like my little, the poor zebra. I love this. When I found it, it was like, because what's happening, something is happening. He's like, I think it's stress, because it's losing his stripes. So I'm going to say a little more about that. So there's different kinds of stress. There's the daily stress, which are just getting here tonight, right? From wherever you're coming from is a kind of daily stress. Waking up in the morning and getting your day going is another kind of daily stress, right? We all have these daily stresses, but actually I learned something tonight from Philip, which is, I was going to say a certain amount of stress is natural. And then there really is the difference between pressure and stress. So that was really helpful. So there's daily stress, and then there's chronic stress. And the chronic stressors are kind of the more longer-term enduring stresses. And what they are things like living with pain, or living with a chronic illness, or sometimes the pressures around housing or finances, and all kinds of like more enduring kind of stress. And then there's also the traumatic stress. And, you know, our community has been dealing with a lot of traumatic stress, and there's a lot of traumatic stress in the world. And I think you know what kinds of traumatic stresses there are, so I don't really need to name them. But it is true that there is a certain amount of stress that is motivating. Like for me to get ready for this talk tonight was a certain kind of stress. But now I've reframed it to myself through Philip, that now I'm going to call that was like healthy pressure, because I got it done, right? So that kind of stress or pressure now, that we all have learned, is really okay, as long as we manage it well. But too much stress can have, you know, damaging effects, can be, cause all kinds of psychological or emotional issues like anxiety or depression or panic attacks. And also some medical or physical things like headaches or pain, digestive issues, fatigue, and other physical symptoms. Oops, I'm going to go back a second. And it is like what Philip said, there are some stressors that we can do something about, that we can change to diminish the stress, the impact of the stress in our life. So for me, for example, I could make wise decisions about planning to prepare for this talk, or if I got here and I really wasn't up to it, I would be super stressed out up here. Now just mildly. And that other stressors and things in life, they just happen. And we can't control or stop them. But what we do have control or choice about is how we respond to those stressors. That's what we can do, and that's a lot of what this talk is about. So since this is mini-med, here's a little brain science. Very simplistic brain science, so don't get too stressed out. So this is helpful to understand how stress is wired in us. So essentially, I like this model because it's called the triune brain, okay? And it's an evolutionary model of the brain that was developed in the 1960s by Dr. Paul MacLean. And then he further developed it into a really comprehensive book in the 1990s. And so essentially, you think of it as evolution, right? Now, this is a theory. So in a way, I don't totally know if it's true. But this is kind of how it's understood. And the theory, and it really helps in understanding stress in our lives. So there's basically three levels of the brain. And the first one that gets developed is the reptilian brain, right? And the reptilian brain, it's kind of just think of the reptiles that you know. There's a lot of geckos around here. And they, you know, just like the reptiles, we have that in us where our hearts know when to beat. We know when to wake up. We know when to go to sleep. And it's all automatic. The brain just gives those signals, and it's automatic. So that's the most important part here. It's automatic, no thinking. And then the next one to develop is the mammalian brain, right? So take a moment and just think about all the animals that you know. And the animals have more feeling, right, and emotion. And we have that too. And just think about, you know, if anyone has a dog or seen a dog who you're close to, you like leave and you come home and you open the door, and what is that dog doing? It's like so happy to see you, right? And then it's the most amazing thing. You go out, even if you go out just to get the newspapers, the mail, and you close the door, and then you come back in, and it's like, it's the same automatic response, right? My brother had 2 cats. One cat, super friendly. The other cat, a scaredy cat. So every time I came over, the one cat would be like, hello, you know? And the other cat, as soon as it saw me, would just dash and hide under the bed. It was like that for as long as the cats lived. Anyway, I think you get, I'm trying to make the point about the mammals having feelings and it also being automatic. The third level is the neocortex, which is considered the human brain. And this is what makes humans and other mammals who have the neocortex different, is that we can think, we can conceptualize, we can problem solve, we can imagine things and make decisions, good decisions. Sometimes bad decisions, but also good decisions. So all of this is important because with stress and trauma in the brain, what happens is, as you'll see, the amygdala, so something happens, right? Like the traumas in our lives or something scares us. What happens is the amygdala is the part of the brain that lights up. And the amygdala is like the alarm, and it sounds the alarm to kind of get us to react quickly, and guess what? Without thinking. It's automatic in danger situations because our brains are hardwired for survival. And so we have to, you know, we had to do that. Everyone did it, and you know, and so we either go into, and so it goes between the amygdala and the hippocampus, and we go into fight, which some people get angry, right, or flight, where we got to get away, or freeze, right? Those are the basic 3 responses in that high stress situation. And what's learned from neuroscience is that the amygdala hijacks the prefrontal cortex. I know this is very techie talk, but but it's so interesting because it blocks the prefrontal cortex from our thinking. And so in stressful situations, we're just reacting and not accessing our wise mind and being able to make wise decisions. That's when it's like doing that. You know, when you get in that state, you're like reacting like this. That's what it's like. But the great thing is, the good news is that our brains are actually malleable. They call it plasticity, neuroplasticity, is that throughout life, no matter how old you are, we can learn new things. And this is so important because what happens, I put this picture of a pathway because if you think about it, what happens in the stress response, we are hardwired for it. And so when we just automatically, it's like when you walk a path back and forth, the same path, it makes a groove, right? It makes the path. And what happens is then you, it's like what Philip was talking about, what was, you said, a restricted mind. It just goes into the same groove, and we go into that. But since we can actually change, we can learn tools, and mindfulness is one of them, in order to create a new pathway, to stop that process and create a new pathway into the path of resilience. So, what is resilience? Resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of strength. I love this. It means bouncing back, right? Bouncing back from difficult experiences. And that's what's so wonderful, is that every human being has this capacity to bounce back, to be resilient. And, you know, I put this about research shows that resilience is ordinary, not extraordinary. Because originally people thought, you know, only some people are resilient. Only some people can, like, overcome difficult things. But what the research has found is that, no, everyone can be taught how to do that. So I'm going to share with you some of those, a few tools tonight, in addition to what you just learned from Philip. But I want to share one more little brain image in explaining it, because you see there's this police kind of guide in there, and I love it because what mindfulness does is there's a way, what we need to do is to kind of say stop to this reactivity and calm, like, the reptilian brain and the mammalian brain down, so that then we can access this higher functioning brain. And the ways mindfulness, you know, there are now so many thousands and thousands of studies that show how, actually Philip did say it, but you changed your word, I like it, pausing or stopping or interrupting that automatic response is what is necessary to calm it down, and it has to be calmed down in order for the body to relax and the mind to relax, to access that higher functioning brain. And so mindfulness practices, so that, you know, we did an awareness type of practice, and there's also mindful breathing, or for some people find it really hard to sit still, and so there's also mindful walking, or there's Tai Chi or yoga and other things that really help to calm the nervous system down. So we're going to do a little bit of another exercise to have a practice in mindful breathing. And I'm going to explain it to you first about what we're going to do. So mindful breathing, it begins with bringing awareness to the breath as it comes in the body and as it moves out of the body. And as you bring your awareness to your breath as it comes in the body and moves out of the body, you're actually bringing your mind, your body, and your spirit all together in the same moment, in the present moment. And it's amazing, just bringing your awareness really helps everything come together. And so I'm going to guide you in that. And then to help it be simple I'm going to guide you to silently say, on your in-breath, as you breathe in, you're just going to silently say in as you breathe in and out as you breathe out. So it's just in as you breathe in and out as you breathe out. And then after a little while, I'm going to change it to breathing in a sense of peace and breathing out a sense of calm. And to simplify it, it'll be like, as you breathe in, you just silently say in peace and out calm. Okay? So I'm going to do a little bell to begin. Maybe you just want to stretch because you've been sitting for a long time and now you're going to be sitting again. Oh yeah, you like this. Yeah, so take a stretch, and even if you want to stand up, you know, many people have standing desks now because people are sitting, or they have a little thing that wakes them up and says, time to stand or move around. Yes, you all need to stand. Not you all, but many people do. Yeah, stretch it out. You can shake your legs out. Oh, I have to stand in front of the microphone. So you can shake your legs out, shake your arms out, Shake your hands out. Do the hokey pokey. Yeah, and just listen to your body. That's part of mindfulness, is listening to your body to see what it needs to be able to feel comfortable sitting again. So this meditation practice comes from a Buddhist monk who I've trained with, Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk who was named by Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1960s, nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. And I'm going to share with you how he teaches how to ring the bell, because when he first did it, I thought he was making a mistake. So because he starts it like this, I thought, oh, wow, wait, he didn't. My critical mind said, oh, he didn't do that very well. But anyway, then he said, it's actually like waking the bell up, which is also waking us up. So then after, there's just one more time. So just take some nice, gentle breaths into your body. And just begin by noticing the breath as it comes in your body and moves out of your body. And as you breathe, feel the support of the chair that you're sitting on, the support of the floor beneath your feet, and the support of the groundedness of the earth. And as you breathe, feel your connection with the sky and the heavens and the spirit in life. So just gently bringing your awareness to the in-breath as you breathe in, and the out-breath as you breathe out. And you can just silently say in as you breathe in, and out as you breathe out. And if you notice any thoughts or feelings or sensations, just noticing them and let them pass by like the clouds in the sky. In as you breathe in, and out as you breathe out. And then breathing in a sense of peace, and breathing out a sense of calm. So you can just silently say in peace as you breathe in, and out calm as you breathe out. Just let yourself enjoy that in peace and out calm. And if you notice yourself being pulled into any thoughts or feelings or sensations, you can just notice them and gently return to the in peace and out calm. And just notice how that feels inside in this moment. And then let yourself Just be aware of being here in this room together. And you can gently make that switch from that inner space to coming back out in the room when you're ready. If your eyes are closed, you can gently allow them to open. So this little practice is something you can do whether you're sitting in a formal way like this, or just when you're taking a walk or doing the dishes or at a stoplight, just in peace and out calm, and it will help pave that new pathway. So a lot of the benefits, actually Philip talked about, but they're just here: reduces stress, anxiety, and depression, improves health and wellness, reduces pain experience, improves sleep, cultivates compassion, and promotes well-being. And one thing that this practice does is it helps to develop a part of ourselves that's the witness, the one who can watch, the one who can observe. And that's so helpful because that's the one who, when we get caught in the stress kind of thing, can notice it and then come back out of it into this calm place and notice. So this is the Buddhist monk I was talking about, Thich Nhat Hanh, and he actually has 5 steps for transforming difficult feelings. I think it should say difficult feelings. And I love how they are, and then you're going to see how they relate to, I'm going to share a little case example. So one is recognize each feeling as it arises, just noticing. And then he says, become one with it, which is don't say, go away, fear, I don't like you. Instead say, hello, fear, how are you? So we want to be friendly to it, right? Everything that's inside, the non-judgmental, whatever's there. And then we want to calm the feeling, which the mindful breathing does as you breathe in and as you breathe out. And as you're with it, it likes it. It likes that kind of attention and space. And then release the feeling. So there's many ways of releasing the feeling, but the out-breath is also one way to release the feeling. And then also look deeply, understand it, that, sometimes we let it go, like we just did, but especially in psychotherapy and sometimes with difficult things, it's helpful to look at it. So in my work as a psychotherapist, I also use mindfulness in this way like we just did, but also mindfulness with these difficult feelings. So I want to give you, I think I just lost my paper. Wait a second. I got it. A little example of how I also use art therapy in mindfulness with feelings. So I use a process called focusing, which is a mindfulness practice of first bringing attention into the body and just noticing how it is inside. And then being friendly to whatever's there. And then seeing sometimes an image will come or colors. And so anyway, and then I encourage people to draw it. And even if you can't draw, when people work with me, I usually help them feel safer to try it out. So this was actually a student of mine, but it shows how, like, someone who, she was diagnosed with a rare illness. She was in her 30s, and she was in graduate school, and she was working. And it was a rare autoimmune disease in which she started to have a lot of pain, really bad headaches, and confusion. And she actually had to, stop working. And she had to take a limited amount of graduate school classes. So she was actually in my class, and that's why I have such a good explanation, because she had to describe it. But she describes this thing of becoming aware and being friendly to it. So she wrote, before I began using focusing with art, I thought of my pain and anger with hatred. The illness is symbolized as a creature with black claws inside of the human figure in red. So you can see that. And the creature is clawing and scratching inside my body and leaving bloody red scratch marks, which you can see. So that was her way of becoming mindful of the pain, right? And being with it and expressing it. But then I invited her to work with being friendly to it, to help her become more like with it, more accepting to it. And so anyway, I do the same thing where first we use the imagination and to imagine, and then to sense it in the body and to become mindful of what it would feel like. And so she got this next image, and this is what she said. When I brought the attitude of being friendly to the illness, I began to see the creature as trapped inside my body and that it was scared and confused. It wasn't evil and it meant no harm. It was innocent and it was trying to get free. The image that came was of a blue human figure surrounded by yellow light. Now it was cradling the same creature, now buried and sleeping softly in its arms. So that's the transformation. And it is what Philip was talking about. It's because he talked about pain also, that there's a different relationship to the pain. That mindfulness, and this is mindfulness with some other things, helps in changing the relationship to it. And so this is what she said. In cradling the creature, and this is how it elicits the self-compassion, I was actually cradling the vulnerable part of me that was frightened and hurting. Seeing my pain as innocent and frightened led me to feel more compassion for myself. And then she said, the claw marks are still visible inside the figure, but now they are black, those little black dashes, rather than red, symbolizing healing scars rather than fresh wounds. So that's the healing process, and it takes that mindfulness and creating that just being with and being friendly to it that helps someone be with it and also opens that self-compassion. So it's also helpful, I just want to mention, that was working with difficult feelings, but you can also work with, I call them resilience building feelings, qualities. I have a little trouble myself with categorizing feelings as positive and negative because I don't think any are positive or any are negative, they're all feelings. So I'm calling them resilience building. So you can do the same meditation, mindfulness on these qualities of like loving kindness, which we just did, a peaceful place, a safe place, source of strength, and things like that. And then gratitude. And there was a study that after 10 weeks, those who wrote about gratitude were more optimistic and felt better about their lives. And they also exercised more and made fewer trips to physicians. So gratitude. So all of this is building that path towards resilience. And that the practice, doing it, is creating the new pathways in our brains. But it's not just our brains that we live with. The brain is the whole body, mind, and spirit, and heart. So another thing, I just wanted to make mention of the mindfulness of our community here. And just that this study, many studies show that a primary factor in resilience is having the caring and support of at least one person. And I thought, wow, just look around. There's so many people, so always look for that support. And I want to check with Finn, like how much time do we have? Because we could wait on that. No. Okay. So I'll just mention you have a little tag. So whenever you feel like it, it's just a little reminder. You can always jot something down that you want to remember from tonight. Okay? Thank you.